Welcome, and thank you for joining us for today's Dealer On webinar, 5 Mistakes You're Making on Instagram and How to Fix Them. My name is Eliana Raggio, and I'll be your moderator today. Today's webinar is being presented by DealerOn. For anyone who isn't familiar with DealerOn, we're an award-winning website development company and digital agency, best known for our amazing SEO, the best customer service, and the highest converting website designs in the industry, including the award-winning Chameleon responsive website platform. And hey, we just got back from NADA, where we were awarded the Driving Sales Dealer Satisfaction Award for the top-rated websites for an unprecedented 6th year in a row. And we also took home the AWA Award for Best Websites for our Chameleon responsive website platform. Plus, FCA announced that we are now an approved vendor. It's been a heck of a month. We're still the only company in the industry that offers a money-back, lead guarantee program. Hey, you want to know more? Yeah, you do. You can check us out at DealerOn.com. We have a great show in store for you today. We are very pleased to have the one and only Kate Frost as our presenter today. Kate Frost is the president of Kate Frost, Inc., an award-winning digital marketing service provider which helps clients improve their lead handling processes and digital marketing. Kate has an extensive background in automotive advertising with an emphasis on social media and brings a unique insight into the automotive digital marketing realm. During the last decade, she has conducted hundreds of social media campaigns designed to brand businesses, drive traffic, and generate sales and service leads. In January of 2015, she launched Polished Digital, a digital marketing company focused on providing online strategies for the beauty and lifestyle brands. Kate continues to learn about emerging trends and best practices and shares her knowledge at Digital Dealer, Driving Sales, TLS, Innovative Dealer Summit, Auto Dealer Monthly's Training for Success magazine, and at numerous 20 group associations. Ms. Frost has been recognized as Dealer Marketing Magazine's 2014, 2015, and 2016 Technology Leader in Social Media. Kate is a highly respected member of the automotive community, a busy public speaker, and she can be reached at kate@katefrostinc.com. And by the way, Kate Frost is also going to be presenting at the upcoming Digital Dealer Conference in Tampa, Florida, April 11th through the 13th, where she will be discussing even more cutting-edge social media marketing techniques that all dealers need to know. So if you're headed to Digital Dealer, be sure to check out her awesome session. We hope to see you there. And during the presentation, if you have any questions, please use the question feature located on the corner of your screen to submit them. At the end of the presentation, we'll answer those questions of general interest. If we're unable to get to your question live, we're going to try to respond by email later today. Don't forget, a link to download a copy of this webinar recording will also be emailed to you later today for your reference. Please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. And guess what? Our good friends over at Kate Frost, Inc., they're giving away a great prize. Today on the webinar, one of you lucky webinar attendees is going to win a $150 Amazon gift card. You heard me. Everyone can use that. You have to be on the live broadcast to win it, though. So stay tuned, and who knows, you could be winning this awesome prize today. Also, at the conclusion of the webinar, you will receive a short survey. So fill it out. We're always looking for quality feedback from our audience, and we want your opinion to be heard. Hey, do you tweet much? We hope you do. We'd love to see what you have to say about today's presentation, so please tag us in it. You can use hashtag DealerOnWebby. I'm at Eliana Raggio. You can also hit up Kate Frost at Kate Frost Inc. We look forward to seeing what you're saying. So let's get started. Let's learn 5 mistakes you're making on Instagram and how to fix them. Kate Frost, how are you?
I'm good. Man, I have to say, you reading my bio just sounds so good.
I make you sound so good, right? Guess what? I don't. You make yourself sound so good. You are amazing. And I am so pleased you are back for installment number 7 of the Kate Frost wonderful webinars on the DealerOn Education Series. So thank you for that.
Wow. Yes, thanks for having me back. It's hard to believe that it's been 7. As I was putting it together yesterday, I was thinking, man, the first time just being so nervous, and I'm
You're proud of this. What are you talking about?
Now.
Look, yeah. if anyone who's on here now has not heard Kate yet, I'm just going to let you know Kate gives good webinar, and you are in for a treat today. So, Kate, nice. I love the topic you picked. You're the only one I would ever ask to speak about Instagram because you are the Instagram queen. So tell everyone the kinds of awesomeness that they're going to be hearing about this next hour.
Absolutely. So hopefully some of you sat in on my webinar last year. I think it was in May, where we talked about Instagram. And so I'm back again to give you some of the updates, because Instagram has certainly been busy over the last few months. And so I'm going to highlight some of those features for you that you might not be as familiar with. So show you Instagram insights and how you can use them to improve your content, your reach, and your audience. Provide you some step-by-step directions along with the do's and don'ts to make you look like an Insta Pro, and tell you how you should be using Instagram stories to engage with your followers. And then, of course, at the end, we'll do a Q&A session. So if you have some questions, you've been stumped, I'll do my best to answer those for you and give you my opinion on what you should be doing. Eliana mentioned in my bio that a few years ago I started a DBA called Polish Digital, and so I work with a lot of brands outside of the automotive industry. I've listed a few of them for you on the right if you want to follow along on some of our beauty adventures, but I'll just highlight a few of them. Palladio Beauty is a makeup brand that is sold all over the world, and they're available in the U.S. at Sally Beauty, Ulta. They just got picked up at Forever 21. Ricky's NYC is a beauty retailer. They have 28 locations throughout New York and one in South Beach. Tan Towel is a self-tanner that maybe you've seen on Home Shopping Network. They're sold in Ulta and a lot of them. And then there's a bunch of hair care products, Pure Ava products, creative brushes, color design hairs, professional hair coloring, Xenogen if anyone's losing their hair, that'll help you out. So follow along with those and you can see what we're doing there, taking all of the pictures, scheduling all of that content. And the reason that I bring that up too is because when I first started working with these brands, it was really interesting because, you know, I thought that I was going to help them with their social strategy, and every single one of them, what they were most interested in was Instagram. And we'll get into why in a little bit, but you can see on the left-hand side that Palladio Beauty, when we started working with them in October of 2015, they had 5,682 followers, and today we're sitting at over 46,000. And so I'm going to share with you the same principles that we used to grow this account can be applied to any business and certainly to a dealership as well. And I think probably the same thing as maybe people sitting on the call are thinking is, well, there's a big difference between beauty and automotive, and I get that a lot, but I would actually challenge that and say that it's really the same thing at the end of the day. Retail is retail, and the same things that work in terms of sales, call to actions, marketing, listening to customers, customer reviews, all of that is the same. It's the content that really changes between the two. So the formula is the same. And really another major difference being that with beauty brands, you know, nail polish and lipstick, those are purchased online, whereas a car, you're still not making that purchase online. You're not adding a Camry to a shopping cart and checking out via PayPal. But it's been really encouraging to see that when we post something on social media for these brands with, you know, a specific coupon code and then see the redemption, it's unbelievable. So I think that's more to come. The other major difference is that as a dealer, you have so many choices when it comes to where you're advertising, and social media can sometimes be the red-headed stepchild, right? You're more focused on your traditional advertising or your website, and perhaps that's rightfully so. But it's been really refreshing for me because for 8 years I've been talking to dealers and trying to convince them why social media is important, and here with these brands it's the basis of all of their advertising. I mean, these are images that are getting shared by their retailers, that are being picked up in the press, and so really all of their advertising goes around social media. So, and really, like, why is Instagram so popular for the beauty industry and the healthcare industry, and I would soon say the automotive industry? It's because for years, all we've been doing is hearing about the importance of millennials and mobile. I mean, Eliana, how many webinars have you probably hosted on those very same topics?
Right.
Countless. And so it's great because with Instagram, it's all mobile. You don't engage with Instagram on a desktop computer. And I think this is really interesting. It says that by 2019, nearly 2/3 of all millennial smartphone users will use Instagram. And in 2016, there were 48.2 million millennials on Instagram. So the growth is huge. The other thing that's really nice is that Instagram isn't a pay-to-play for business in the same way that Facebook is. That's not to say that in 2018, when Eliana and I are doing another webinar on Instagram, that won't have changed, but you still have a way to engage organically with your audience. And as a marketer, I love it because all of this time that we spend creating content, it actually gets the highest engagement on Instagram versus Facebook. And you can see that here where it really compares the difference between some Facebook and Instagram statistics to see that there's 4.2 billion likes a day on Instagram should be really encouraging to you. So I think that's, you know, Facebook has a larger audience, but Instagram has better statistics on engagement. And studies actually show that engagement with businesses on Instagram is 10 times higher than Facebook. So if you're already spending that time creating the content that you're pushing to Facebook, a good place to start could be on Instagram instead. And so let's get started with a poll question.
All right, here we go. First poll question is on the screen now. We only have 2 poll questions today, so your involvement in these poll questions really helps us out, and it helps us, you know, get a little bit more insight into what's going on in the average dealership out there. So the question before you right now is, when did you convert your Instagram account to a business account? Of course, we're talking about your dealership Instagram account, so we want to know, did you convert it as soon as the option became available? Did you wait until you saw your competitor switched theirs? Is the answer, I will do it right after this webinar. I didn't really know about that. How about, I didn't know I was supposed to do that, or I don't really use Instagram that way, or what? I'm just here for the Amazon gift card. I already know who should be hitting up that one. So,
exactly. Brad, we're talking to you.
By the way, we're getting some wonderful tweets from the audience right now, so thank you so much. Amazing tweets. AJ, for instance, he said, I perked up when you started talking about hair care. Hashtag got my attention. For any of you who don't know who AJ is, let's just say he's a little follically challenged, but boy, oh boy, do we love him. So AJ, thank you so much for telling us how much hair care products mean to you. Now, the votes are still coming in, so audience, thank you so much for your participation in our first poll question. Again, there's going to be one more question coming in a little bit later on in the show. And certainly, if you have any questions at all about Instagram or really anything about social media, Kate Frost is your girl, so get those questions in. I do go through the questions after her presentation in the order in which they were received. So if you want to get your question asked earlier, send it in earlier, okay? All right, thank you so much. Let's close this poll and share the results. You ready, Kate?
Yes, let's hear it.
I just got a bump in, more votes just came in. All right, here we go. Let's close it. Here we go.
The pressure's on.
Here we go. Okay. The vast majority, 69% of today's audience, said that they converted their Instagram account to a business account as soon as the option became available.
Yay!
No one waited for their damn competitors. They don't care about the competitors. But
no, the competitors are watching them.
A quarter of today's audience, 25%, said, yeah, I'm going to do it right after this webinar.
Perfect.
3% of today's audience said they didn't know that they were supposed to do that. And another 3%, yeah, they admitted that they're just here for the Amazon gift card. So, as a matter of fact, Brad wrote in and said, just go ahead and put my name on that, okay? I love loving the optimism. Thanks, Brad. All right, let's hide this poll and let's get back to the presentation.
Well, I'm happy to hear that the majority of you have done the conversion, and I would, I guess, kind of suspect that if you're even sitting in on this webinar that you're engaged. But this was a big change. It was, you know, certainly May of last year when we were doing this webinar that there was no difference between a personal and business account, and now there is. And you can see on the left-hand side that it used to just be a follow button, but on the right we've now have the contact button that will allow you to get directions and to call or email. You'll also see that there's the address is now visible within the profile description. So big changes. If you haven't done it yet, this is how you're going to do it. You're going to go into the settings, which is in the top right-hand corner, that little wheel, and then you're going to scroll down and hit Switch to Business Profile, which you will see right here. You do have to be an admin on your business Facebook page in order to make it the profile, or in order to switch it to a business profile, because it's actually pulling in the address and all of the contact information from there. And the other nice thing about this switch is that you'll now be able to push your Instagram posts to your business Facebook page, whereas previously they would post to your personal account and you had to do some workarounds there. So definitely make the switch, because you'll have more ways, your audience will have more ways to connect with you, to contact you, and without it, you won't be able to get your insights. So the other big mistake that people are making are that you're not checking your insights. And so once you make that conversion and you're now a business account, you're going to see this kind of bar graph next to the settings in the top right corner. And when you click on it, that's where you'll be able to go in and see those insights. And the screen on the right is what it's going to default to, the view, and I'm going to show you some of the other things, some of the other information you can get once you're in there. So you're able to just scroll through those dots at the top and see what your impressions were, what your reach is, and your profile views. The biggest thing to remember with impressions is that's the total number of times your post has been seen, whereas the reach is going to be the number of unique accounts that have seen your post. And profile views is, again, going to be the number of times your profile was viewed. The other two dots are going, the other two dots are going to show you how many clicks to your website, or how many times somebody has called you, gotten directions, and I wouldn't suspect that those numbers are as large for a dealership, but with some of the beauty brands, I mean, we see that the click-throughs in a week are beyond 1,500, so it's pretty big. And it's nice that now you have a way to gauge this without having to just gauge the effectiveness of Instagram without having to just look at audience size all the time. It's also great because I think that a lot of dealers or marketers are familiar with terms like impressions and reach, and it's not just specific to social media. They're used to tracking advertising that way. And the thing that I love the most about it beyond that is that you can really see what content is working. I'm going to go back to this screen and point out that you're going to see the top posts showing here, but when you click See More, this is where you're going to be able to go. It's going to default to showing all posted in the last 7 days and sorted by impressions, but every single one of these in blue is a hyperlink that's going to allow you to edit based on what you want to see. So you could change the content from all to just videos or photos. The time frame can be the last 7 days, 3 months, 60 days, up to a year, and you can sort by likes and by reach and by impressions. And that's great because now you can really see what's working well for you. So for this dealership, certainly the photos of the customers at the time of delivery are getting a lot of engagement and they're getting seen a lot of times, so we want to increase the frequency of those types of posts. But this will give you a great snapshot to see what you should be creating more of or taking pictures of. The other nice thing in Insights is now you suddenly have an idea of who your audience is, and I kind of love it because it's a way when I've taken over some of these Instagram accounts where, you know, they say that they have 16,000 followers and I'm seeing that they get 20 likes. This is really going to identify those people that could have purchased fake likes or fake followers because there's not a lot of data on them. But what you should be seeing is the makeup of who's following you. So for this account, 72% of them are men between the ages of, and it's not so surprising that those would be the millennials, right, the 25 to 34. And then on the right-hand side, what I love is you can also see when is the best time to be posting for that day. When is your audience currently online? And you can see here that, you know, lunchtime is a great time. People are checking their phones. And I would even say, you know, 12 and 3 p.m. So depending on what coast you're on, that could be the same lunch hour. So definitely check your insights. If you're doing monthly reporting, this is a great way to go in and fill in some of those numbers as well. And then the next big change that Instagram rolled out was Instagram Stories. And I have to say, when I was putting this together yesterday and trying to get a screenshot to show you what the stories looked like, I was really kind of embarrassed by all of the people that I follow on Instagram, namely Justin Bieber. But I would say, you know, if you're Bieber, the answer is yes. Tell your story. So
you were embarrassed for Justin Bieber?
I was embarrassed of all of the people that I was following because everyone that just kept coming up was like Justin Bieber. I realized I'm not following a lot of deep thinkers is what I came to find. And so for Instagram Stories, those of you that don't know, you know, it's Instagram's answer to Snapchat, and it was released in August of 2016. I think a lot of people were kind of up in arms about Instagram blatantly ripping off Snapchat, but I have to say that from a marketing standpoint, I was completely overjoyed because I spent all of this time building an audience on Instagram, and now I can just tap right into that. I don't have to go to a totally separate platform and start from scratch rebuilding that audience. So I love it because it's not these individual silos. They've just increased the scope of the platform. So it's a way of sharing photos and videos with your followers that disappear in 24 hours. You can manually delete any of those photos or videos before 24 hours, but they will go away if you did nothing at that time. The video can max out at 15 seconds, and you can take photos or upload photos that you've taken within the last 24 hours. So it doesn't have to be completely live and that you're taking it there. Now you can swipe up and take and upload some of the photos that you've already done or screenshots. And as a business, what's nice is you can see the impressions, the reach, the exits, and replies for the past 14 days. That's also going to be in Insights. That is relatively new, I would say, in the last 2 to 3 weeks. And that's fantastic because previously I was having to take screenshots. There was no record of that. So this is going to be really helpful for you as well once you get involved in taking some of these stories. So I would tell you, you know, there's a few ways that come to mind for me on the best stories to share, and I'd love to hear everybody's thoughts on this or what they've done at their dealership. But I think it's a great tool for a customer testimonial because it's so quick that nobody has to get too camera shy on the whole thing, you can download, and you can see that over here, you could download any of the pictures or the videos and then save those if you wanted to repurpose and put them on Facebook or share them on another platform. But customer testimonials are great. If you post a picture on Instagram, I would go ahead and put, check out our story to see or learn more. And then your story could have the walk around of the vehicle, showing additional features or different angles, opening up the car so that they could see the interior. And it's also great for announcing a flash sale or special pricing, even AJ mentioning that the store is closed because of snow. That's something that you could talk about because you know that it's timely and that it's going to go away. And it's also a great tool to introduce the staff, show a little bit of personality, give behind the scenes. So this could be even, sharing birthdays, anniversaries, customers at the time of delivery or owners' clinics. This would all be a great way to share some of that story on Instagram. Some of the things you don't want to do is make it too long. You're going to see that engagement typically goes down with each new photo or video you use. And so make sure that the first photo or video is going to be the most compelling so that people will continue watching the story. They also just launched, similar to Facebook Live, now they have Instagram Live, and I love the meme that says, going live with one person watching, that's not going live, that's FaceTime. I think it's so true. So everybody thinks that what they're doing is so exciting, but we can all see how many people are watching, and if that's a single-digit number, that's a little embarrassing, and so I probably wouldn't recommend going live. That could just be a photo or a story. The other thing you don't want to do, like Nabil has done here, is put your boss on blast if they're going to see it. So there I am, hard at work with my feet up on my desk, but I have to say that I did have my phone in my hand and was on Instagram, I'm sure, working away and not just looking at Justin Bieber. So, although maybe I could have been, I don't know.
It's possible.
And so I think that takes us to the next poll question. I've done quite a bit of talking. So
yes, you have. Go get yourself a drink. I'm sure you have a martini next to you or something. And while you do that, I'm going to talk to the audience and get them to vote for our next poll question. We want to know, how often do you typically post to your dealership Instagram account? Please select one of the following options. Do you do it 3 to 5 times per week, 1 to 2 times per week, 1 to 2 times per month, every month or so, or I think I might have posted something last October. Once we get a majority of the votes in, we're going to close this poll and share the results. So how often do you typically post to your dealership Instagram account? And still heavy Twitter activity out there. Thank you so much for all you tweeters. Really appreciate it. And already have a couple of really great questions that came in, but looking for some more. So get those great questions in. I know you have them. You probably are sitting there like, I wonder, yeah, if you wonder, just write it in.
I wonder how to create an Instagram account.
What is that? Where's never? That's Kate's job. You're right. I should have put never do I post to my dealership Instagram account. I hired Kate. No, I didn't use that. AJ, thank you so much for the comment. You're right. Maybe I should have put that. Sorry. All right. Well, almost everyone has voted now. So, Kate, if you're ready, I will close this poll and share the results.
Yes, let's hear.
Do it. All right. Here we go. 45%. Ooh, that's the majority. 45% of today's audience say they are handling that Instagram account 3 to 5 times per week.
Nice.
Now, almost a third of today's audience, 29%, said they do about 1 to 2 times per week. 5% of today's audience say they do it 1 to 2 times per month. 10% said every month or so. And then I don't know if they're just kidding, but 12% of today's audience said that they think they posted something last October.
Perfect. perfect.
All right, so let's close this poll. Audience, thank you so much for participating in our poll questions. We really appreciate it. That's our last poll question of the day. But if you do have questions for Kate, we're looking forward to a really nice, robust Q&A session. So get those questions in. Thanks so much. All right, Kate, take it away.
Yeah, so I think the other mistake that I see is just people being the commitment phobe, that they're not posting enough. I'm delighted to hear that that's not the case with the audience today, but I really think that it's, you know, one of those things you're going to get out of it, what you put into it, and so here's, you know, a dealer that the last time they posted was November 18th, 2016. Like, just go ahead and delete Instagram because I think it's hurting you more than it's helping you. So I would say, you know, and again, a lot of you are already doing this, that if you're just getting started, aim for at least 3 times a week, and you can use insights to determine the day and time that you're going to have the highest engagement and when your audience is actively on Instagram. And if you're posting to Facebook every single day anyway, then I would just push this picture to Facebook and kill 2 birds with 1 post. And for those of you that are using Hootsuite, if you didn't know, you can go ahead and schedule you can schedule your Instagram posts through the software. It's not going to post directly, but it is going to send you a notification letting you know that it's time to post it, and then you just have to make sure that you have that Instagram account open on your mobile device, and similar to like a repost app, it's going to queue up the photo. You can still edit it and put a filter there, and then you can just paste the caption that you already had preloaded. So in some cases, particularly for us, because we manage so many, it doesn't necessarily save a step, but if you're just managing a few accounts, this could be a really great tool for you, especially because you guys are so busy in a dealership and it's easy to get sidetracked. So if you have that time in the beginning of the month or the end to plan ahead, you can go ahead and do that through there. But just make sure that there is some consistency. That's what's going to grow your audience as well. And then the other mistake that I think people are making is that they're not spending money on Instagram. They're not doing any advertising there, and you should, because they've made it easier than ever before to do it. And now, it used to be, you've had the ability to advertise on Instagram for a long time, but with all of these updates that they've made in the business accounts, they've made it that much easier. So in the same way that you can go to Facebook and boost a post, you can go into Instagram and promote a post as well, and that'll just tie directly into your Facebook Ads Manager. You might have already been posting to Instagram, advertising on Instagram without knowing it, because Facebook will automatically, your Facebook ads will automatically appear on there unless you deselect it as an option. And I guess the only thing to keep in mind as you're putting together these ads is that the conversion is going to be more difficult on Instagram than it would be on Facebook, meaning that if somebody is in Instagram and they're scrolling through their feed, they're not often going to click on it for that shop now, because one, they don't want to lose their place within the news feed, and they don't want to get out of Instagram. But it's certainly not impossible to do. I know that, you know, I've clicked on it as well. But what I would say is start off with, if you haven't done it, start off with a branding message, because those do really well. And so you can see here that this is more of a branding message that Jeff Weiler has put out there. But that was an ad that was boosted on Facebook and then went to Instagram. So play around with it. Use some of the budget that you already have allocated for social media for Instagram and see how it's working. It's certainly going to be less than, you know, probably your Google AdWords campaign or a click like that, and definitely getting the audience that you're looking for can be very targeted. And so I know that we were going to stop at 5, but what do you mean we're already at 5? I have more.
Bonus
So,
mistakes?
just talking a little bit about some of the content. That could be a whole separate webinar, I understand, but just some of the things, quick ideas for you to think about. That memes are great. I feel like Instagram and 2016 I got by on laughing at memes, and so you should be creating some of those for your dealership, because the OEM hasn't mandated the colors and fonts and pictures and all of that fun stuff they do on your other forms of advertising on social media yet. And so you should, make it fun and show your personality, and don't be afraid to laugh. And look at the trending memes that are out there and see if it's something that you can turn into a meme for your own business that would make your audience laugh. This is one that we created with AJ for the store. I mean, this guy was everywhere sprinkling that salt, and we kind of newsjacked it and turned it into spending money on Jeep accessories and it got a lot of engagement, and we saw a lot of other Jeep accounts regramming it as well. So if you think you've made one that's really funny, make sure that you watermark it or put your logo there so that you get some of that credit and attribution. And then this is just such a pet peeve of mine, the whole using a hyperlink within the description. The only hyperlink that's ever going to be a hyperlink on your account is going to be in the profile. And that should be, either your homepage, or if you're calling out specifically, you've posted something about the new vehicle that you've gotten in, then change that link to the VDP and put in your comment link in bio. That's what people are used to. Don't put a bit.ly link that nobody is going to remember and have to retype. You'd be better off putting just your homepage URL, your .com there. At least it would be something that they would remember. So don't put a link in your description. You just look like a total newbie. And kind of on the heels of this too, when it comes to hashtags, the only hashtags that are going to be trackable are ones that the administrator on that account is posting. So if you're going to other accounts and putting your hashtag in there as a comment, that's not actually searchable as well. So you could do it if you're trying to be funny, but that's not going to give you credit, and that's not going to now make that post appear alongside that hashtag. And then really, I spent a lot of time on it during my last presentation, but I can't say it enough, that you want to use hashtags. That's how you're going to get that engagement and see that growth. So you're limited to 30. I would tell you to use all 30, put together some of those hashtag lists in your phone, in your notes, and so you know that if you're doing a Jeep post, all you need to do is copy and paste those, so you're not having to individually type out all 30 of them. And don't be afraid to refresh these lists and add to them, see which ones are working. Look at what other larger accounts are using, maybe even the OEM, so that you can use those and incorporate those hashtags into your own posts. So I have just note upon note of all different hashtags, but this is a great example of some of those. So some suggested resources for you. One, I would say, you could, if you didn't sit through the webinar I did last year on 5 tips to be Insta successful, sit through that. It's going to get more in depth on some of those things like hashtags and the apps that I use to create content. but definitely follow Instagram on Instagram. That's how I found out about the stories feature. When they added stickers, any updates they're doing, they're going to roll it out there first, and it's also nice to watch their Instagram stories. Every weekend they roll out a trending hashtag for a project. That would be a great way to get some of that engagement too, because people are looking at those hashtags. So if it's something that would make sense from a business standpoint and you want to give it a try, you could use that hashtag. And then I would tell you too to follow brands outside of the automotive industry, ones that make you laugh or have lots of followers and get a lot of engagement, and those are who you want to emulate. I think that there's a handful of OEMs who really are doing it right, but I think there's more of them that don't really know what they're doing, and all it takes is looking at some of these other makeup artists or hairdressers, people you've never heard of that have way more followers than OEMs and zero advertising budgets. So follow those guys and see what they're doing and how you can bring it back to your own business. And then just be open to reverse mentoring, either from a millennial that you work with or that you know, or from possibly your child. This is what they're used to doing, is telling us how to fix our printer or our email or show us some of that technology. So if you have those questions and maybe it feels like it's a totally different language, then ask those people around you or that are in your network that have a real handle of it. And then, of course, download the cheat sheet at the end of the webinar so that you can create your story and get some more details on all of that. And so after this, what you're needing to do either today or add it to your to-do list is you want to make sure some of those people who haven't converted their Instagram account to a business account yet, you want to go ahead and take care of that. It's easy. It could be done in less than 5 minutes. You want to check your insights regularly to track progress and develop those content strategies. Tell a story. If you haven't used Instagram's story yet, give it a try. Maybe you want to start it out on your personal account first just to get a hang of it, but then once you do, I think you'll quickly be addicted and see how easy it is to use that feature. And commit to a consistent posting schedule. I'm happy to hear that a lot of you have already made that commitment, but for those of you that are going back to October, maybe commit to having that consistent posting schedule. And then allocate some of your social spend to Instagram so that you can see some of those results and at least have a baseline for where you started. I don't know if you were some of the first to use Facebook advertising, but I think that just is common practice now. Most dealerships are using Facebook's ad tool, and so better to be the first there than playing catch up. And last but not least, be creative, have fun. Don't be a weak link and bulk up on hashtags. At the end of the day, if your content is boring and you're not inspired by it, it's hard to think that somebody else is going to think that it's fabulous. You know, at the end of the day, if I'm not sitting on the couch and showing my husband all of the photos I've taken because I'm so proud of them, then I really haven't done a great job, and I know that they're not going to get a lot of engagement. So go out there and have some fun and think a little bit differently on all of it. And I think that takes us to Brad's prize alert.
Wait a second now. That's not from Brad. Hold on a second. All right, audience. I see you, Carrie. We need to get your questions in. We're going to have a great Q&A session, as we always do with Kate Frost. So get your questions in now. Before we get to those questions and before we get to the prize, Kate, a little bit premature, I do want to bring your attention over to the handouts section of the GoToWebinar interface. You have until the end of this broadcast, so not really too much time, but you have until the end of this broadcast to download those 2 great handouts. One, of course, is that handout that Kate talked about, how to post an Instagram story, right there, ready for you. Download it, live it, love it. And you can also download Kate's entire slide deck. Also in there, if you loved what you saw and your hands started cramping from taking too many notes, hey, just download the slide deck, right? All right. Kate, let's turn on our webcams. Oh, I forgot to put on lip gloss. Darn it. All right, I'm going to have to put on
Do
lip
you want me
gloss.
to give you a minute?
No, I can do it right now while I'm waiting. All right, here's what we got. We have one great prize for one of you amazing attendees out there, so it's that time. Yeah, if you were here earlier, then you heard me announce that our good friends over at Kate Frost Inc., which is really Kate Frost, she's giving out a great prize. One of you lucky webinar attendees is going to win a $150 Amazon gift card. What is this in the fine print that webinar goddesses are not allowed to win this cool prize? I'm a little bit upset by this.
What?
I know, right? All you
I'll
have to
send you
do.
lip gloss instead.
Please send me lip gloss. All you have to do is answer a simple question about this presentation. Be the first person to write in the correct response, and this gift card is all yours. All right, here we go. I'm going to ask any vendors that are on this. Hey, we love you vendors, and you are always welcome on my DealerOn webinars. However, we're going to ask you to kindly sit this one out. This prize is intended for dealership personnel only. All right, everyone else, here we go. Good luck. On average, how many likes does Instagram get in a day worldwide? On average, how many likes does Instagram get in a day worldwide? Oh my God, it is not who we thought it was going to be. What?
Oh, no.
Kendra Elliott. No, that's not the right answer.
Quick, download the presentation so you can find the answer.
Wait, let me scroll up. Too many people are writing in. I'm sorry, Kendra, that's not the right answer. You forgot the decimal point. The next person to write in was Emily Darrow. Emily Darrow got it right. 4.2 billion. Is that correct?
Yeah.
It's not 42 billion, right? It's 4.2?
Yes.
4.2 billion. Emily Darrow, congratulations. I don't recall you ever winning on my show before. Congratulations, Emily. You.
Enjoy.
Yeah, amazing. Emily Darrow. Congratulations. Emily, tell me what dealership you're from. No, she hasn't. She's a first-time DealerOn webinar winner. Bravo.
Yay.
All right. Bob Jass Chevrolet. Hey now. Congratulations, Emily. And Kate, do you need a mailing address for her?
An email would be fine.
Email I have. All right, Emily, congratulations on your first DealerOn webinar win. Brad, so close, so close. Okay.
Oh, sorry,
Brad. She says thank you. And look, we only had one prize today, but you know what? We give away cool prizes every week. So come on back to another DealerOn webinar, and who knows? That could be the day you win a cool prize on a DealerOn webinar. For right now, though, we're going to congratulate Emily. And, of course, we got to thank our good friends over at Kate Frost Inc., Kate Frost, for their incredible generosity. So congratulations. And, hey, it's time for those questions. Are you ready, everyone?
I'm actually going to take that 150 out of my employees' paychecks. So
no, you don't say. Just so you know, somebody wrote in and said, you have great employees. And Chris Villegas wrote, yay, I'm just so glad Brad didn't win. Brad, what are you doing?
Take that, Brad.
All right. Emily, just so you know, you're going to be hearing from our good friends over at Kate Frost Inc. about collecting your prize. All right. Here we go. First question is not really a question. It's a tip. Oh, no, put it on the one with your picture on it.
Oh.
It's a tip that came in. Amy said she had such a hard time setting up her business account from her personal, setting up this from my personal and 2 business accounts on one phone. So her tip is that she switched her business profile on her personal phone after she logged out of her personal Facebook account and into her business Facebook account. That's what was screwing her up, right?
And I know that actually Kelly from Jeff Weiler had a similar experience. So you want to make sure that you're personally connected, an admin, and not going in through like another business to to manage those other accounts. So yes, that would certainly be the case. It's looking for, you know, Kate Frost to be on Palladio Beauty and not just a Palladio Beauty.
Right.
Palladio.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Thank you so much for that, Amy. Okay, next question comes in from Kevin. He says, can you see the same info on your personal Instagram account and your business account, or just you only see that intel on your business account?
Yep, you only see the intel on your business account. What you would be able to see on a personal account from your, you know, stories, which is really going to be the only analytics, is like who's viewed your story for the day, how many people, but you wouldn't get to see the impressions or the reach or the exits, anything like that.
Okay, thank you so much. And I don't know if this is the actual Kevin or one of the other two Kevins that all used the same link to come in. So I'm just going to attribute it to you, Kevin. All right, just a handful of more questions and then we'll close out this show. Tom wrote in, what are the types of things that we should post on a consistent basis, and how should it be different than Facebook?
So great question, and I would say that with Instagram, it's all about actual photos. You want real photos of real people, real product, and those can be everything from inventory to your dealership to, you know, a nice tight shot of the wheels or a key. And the biggest difference between what you would post on Instagram versus Facebook is also going to be, like with Facebook, you might actually take one of the banners that you use on your home page and post it there, and you could have, you know, a hyperlink to the VDP or your inventory. That same type of advertisement will not do well on Instagram. It needs to be a softer sell. So you could still maybe have a picture of the vehicle, but rather than having the text that's covering the vehicle, talking about, you know, for $179 a month, you would want to put that in the comments because Instagram is really looking for real photos and less advertisements.
All right, Tom, if you have a follow-up question, we would love to hear it. We only have a few more questions, so get that question back in, okay? Thank you so much. All right, next question comes in from Kevin. He said, I found, no. Okay, he says, what is more important with Instagram, building social relationships or making sales? Oh, that is the question, isn't it?
Well, I would say that if you focus on the relationships first, the sale is going to come, and that would probably be the easier path to the sale. Certainly, that's been the case with you know, some beauty brands where you build up this following, and then they feel, you know, that they know the brand, that they're a part of it. You feature them on your account, and then the sales are happening because there's loyalty already built in. And even going back to Tom's question about what should you be posting, you're going to find that as long as you come up with like a branded hashtag for your store, people are going to be posting pictures of their vehicle, or maybe when they bought the vehicle, they checked in and said that they were at your store. Take some of those photos and regram them and congratulate. You saw in that example earlier of the Volvo that some of the pictures that got the most engagement were of the salesman and the customer at the time of delivery. So definitely, you know, take some of those or regram and give back. But I would say work on building a relationship, particularly because, you know, we're selling cars that are thousands of dollars, so it's more difficult.
Right. All right, thank you so much. Great question. Let's keep going. Next one comes in from Amy. And I just want you to know it came in all caps. All caps.
She's yelling?
She's yelling. And she said, Kate, talk more about how to regram And then she wrote back in lower caps, sorry, I didn't mean to shout. So thanks, Amy.
So I think that for regramming, what I would suggest doing is finding the photo that you like, taking a screenshot of it, and then posting it from there just like a regular photo. You don't need to be using a repost app. In fact, Sephora will tell you that if you're regramming photos using a repost app, like they hate your gallery and they won't regram from you. So it's all about taking a screenshot of it and then posting it like a regular photo. You would want to, the social etiquette would be that you would tag the original person on the photo, and then you would make your own comment and then do like an RP for repost and then tag them again in the comment field so that you're giving the proper attribution. Now with a video, you're not able, obviously, to take a screenshot, and you have to use a repost app. So there's lots of them out there. They're all free.
Which one do you like?
I actually use the repost app, and I paid the like $1.99 to take off the watermark that shows it's a repost because I think it just looks cleaner. The only time that I would say to use a repost where it's showing the watermark would be if it's something noteworthy, like the person has way more followers than you or a much larger audience, that you want to show that, you know, for example, Sephora has regrammed you or something like that, then I think it plays well. But otherwise, if you have a whole gallery that looks like it's reposts, it kind of looks like garbage.
Okay, all right.
Screenshot and tag.
Got it. Amy? Amy already wrote in. She says, perfect. Thank you. All right, Amy. And she didn't yell this time.
Thank you.
I know, we're just teasing you, Amy. All right, here we go. All right, next question comes in from AJ. He says, what gets more engagement, stock or real photos, or does it not matter?
I think that with stock photos, even if you're, you know, certainly something that has like a white background and comes from the manufacturer that you would have on your website, that gets zero engagement. That's garbage. So you want to definitely take a real photo, even if you're using like a stock image from an OEM where it's, you know, the car driving on, you know, perfectly lit and the city is in the background and the lights are glowing. That would still, I'm sure, do much better, but you don't want to have one where it's like that car that's just floating on this white space. So definitely use real photos, and he knows that. I think he's just teeing me up.
He said that's what I meant. Oh, AJ wanted me to tell everyone.
Dealership bought a stock photo.
AJ wanted me to tell everyone Forever 21 actually regrammed Polished Digital the other day, and he thought that was pretty awesome. So thank you for that, AJ. All right.
I call it Forever 38.
All right. Last question comes in from Carrie. She had a heck of a time getting in touch with us, but she is here. Carrie, last question. Always save the best for last. Carrie says, how many Instagram posts are too many in 1 week?
Oh, good question, because I think there's definitely a fine line between underposting and overposting.
Like, because I feel like you can post too much in Facebook. You can't post too much in Twitter. So
correct.
Is there a balancing act when it comes to Instagram?
I would think of Instagram similar to Facebook, where those 3 posts that I want you to do in a week, I want you to do them over the course of 7 days and not 3 in 1 day, because then that just looks spammy. So yeah, I would say that, you know, I have some accounts that we post for them 3 times a day, others where it's just once a day. You need to see what's right for you, but I would say for a dealership, once is enough for a day. unless you're really at an event or something that's pretty cool. But even then, take some of those great shots and then use them in the upcoming weeks as like a throwback Thursday or a flashback Friday.
Right, right, right. Carrie, did that answer your question? Hopefully it did. Or do you have a follow-up? Because I got to close out the show. And by the way, as she said, it did. Thanks. Curtis wrote in and he says, I just want to know why AJ is following Forever 21.
I don't think he is. I think I posted it because I was doing a not so humble brag.
Oh, that's so funny. Kate, always a pleasure to have you here, my friend. I just adore you and I love what you do and there's no one who does it better. Thank you so much and congratulations on all your success. I'm looking forward to even more from you. And I'm really looking forward to webinar number 8. So whenever that is.
Yes.
Yes, I will see you in Tampa and for a digital dealer. And then I'm also going to see you in Orlando for Women in Automotive.
Yes.
Yes? We have a big year ahead of us, people. So, all right. Kate, I'm gonna let you go. Fantastic presentation. Of course, I want to remind the audience that a link to download a copy of today's webinar recording is going to be emailed to you later today for your reference. Please feel free to share it with your friends and colleagues. Today's webinar is also posted online within 24 hours. All you have to do is go to DealerOn.com/webinars to view our upcoming webinar schedule or access any of our past webinars too. Also, at the conclusion of this webinar, in just a minute, you're going to get a short survey. It's literally 3 questions. And we just want you to answer those 3 questions for us. It would really, really mean a lot to us. I know how I felt about today's webinar, but I want to know what you thought about today's webinar. So hopefully you'll answer that question for us, and then we'll all know. All right. By the way, Kate Frost is also going to be presenting at the upcoming Digital Dealer Convention in Tampa, Florida. It's going to be April 11th through the 13th. I'm going to be there too. And she's going to be discussing some more cutting-edge social media marketing techniques that all dealers need to know. So if you're going to be headed to Tampa for Digital Dealer, be sure to check out her awesome session. I hope to see you there. And invitations will be going out tomorrow for our next webinar. The 3 mistakes killing your online sales and how to fix them. Isn't that funny how your titles are pretty similar?
Yes.
Anyway, and they were planned like weeks apart. It's so funny. Anyway, yeah, we have the one and only Corey Mosley who's coming in next week.
He's great.
So great. If you are like most dealers, then you spend a lot of time, money, and energy vying for the attention of those online car shoppers, fickle as they are. However, the majority of dealers are plagued by 3 large problems that are doing some serious harm to their online sales. Fortunately, a little know-how can help you avoid these common pitfalls and get you back on the road to closing more internet deals. Famed automotive retail expert Corey Mosley is known for offering real-world advice that's always on target, and in this eye-opening 1-hour webinar, he's going to discuss the 3 major problems that are costing you deals with internet shoppers, and then he's going to offer practical and actionable strategies to overcome those challenges so you can maximize your lead-to-sale conversion rate. Attendees will leave this training with a fresh perspective on lead conversion and a plan to close the gaps in their current process. Attendees of the live broadcast will also receive critical help from the Internet Sales Rapid Assessment Worksheet that he is going to hand out. Now, this is it. Take your internet sales to the next level. Don't miss this chance to see one of the most impressive members of the automotive community as he discusses the 3 mistakes killing your online sales and how to fix them. Register now. And don't forget, DealerOn's weekly webinars are held Thursday at 12 noon Eastern, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific. If you have any questions, comments, or suggestions regarding our regarding our webinars and our topics, please feel free to contact me directly. Again, my name is Eliana Raggio. I'd love to hear from you, and I'm everywhere. I'm on Facebook, Google+, Twitter, you name it. I'm everywhere. You know what? You can just email me directly at eliana@dealeron.com. Thank you all so very much for spending this time with us today, and I hope to see you all on another webinar in our continuing education series. Take care.